So we got some cable racks we're gonna start preparing, putting up on the wall there. So I'm gonna start with the cable railing now. So these are going up the walls there, just under the ceiling there. They're gonna go all the way around the entire garage. All the cables are gonna get pulled through that. So if I want an outlet on the wall, it's gonna go on this and then just straight down to where I want the outlet to go. So we're gonna cut these 65. I guess I can cut the entire bunch here. So the cable railings are done. And he started to route some cables going here. So there's gonna be, all the fuses gonna get placed here. From that, we're gonna get the railing going to that, and then just straight up and route it to wherever that cable is needed. So I start marking up here where the outlets are coming. So I'm thinking this is just gonna be the more finer side. I don't know, I may have a 3D printer, some computer and electronic stuff going on here. And here we got the outlets. So they're gonna be 16 amps, and it's gonna be a combined outlet. 16 amps and 230. 2 coming there, 1 coming there. We didn't go over with the railing here since I don't see any cables that needs to go over there, but if there is any in the future, we can just lengthen that. So here is a 32 amps. This is going to be a kind of a central or a big box here with a lot of different outlets here. 16 amps there, light switch. And 16 amps here and a light switch. Since we have railing there, it's really easy to, if you figure out I want an outlet there, you can just pull down a cable to that outlet. So that's what's good with railing. If you want to change everything or something like that, it's really easy to do that. So this is wrong. This is not gonna fit this. So I had to go and get, there were also some gray shelf there. Those are the one that goes for this. Okay, so let's put this on. The first shelf a little bit above the floor here. So if there's water and stuff here, you can easily just sweep that away. Where did I put that there? I didn't find anything to stabilize it. I guess there's supposed to be something like this that just goes across here. It doesn't walk like this. But I couldn't find it, so. So yeah, it's kind of easy getting them stabilized. That's not an issue here. But you know, I'm starting to get second thought about this. Problem with these shelves are this. These are meant for pallets. I will just fit one other pallet here, and it will leave this big of a gap. So it's like 2.5 pallets that's supposed to fit in here. This thing is kind of deep, so it would be nice having this a little bit more shallow. I mean, if you can fit the pallet the other way, 2 of them, and that would make me save some space here also. I'm kind of thinking about putting a pressure washer on this wall here, and having this going a little bit more in would fit kind of perfectly there. So I could cut this up here all the way and bring them back and have it exactly the length I want it to be. I don't know, I gotta think about this. I gotta leave it like this for now and start with something else. This is an old coffee maker I got for free. It was being thrown out, so well, I said I can take that instead. So yeah, it's been standing for quite some time. This has chocolate and everything like that. I'm not going to use it with chocolate or milk powder. I'm just gonna use it for black coffee. I just need to need to clean this out. It's not smelling its best, a little bit like sour milk. But other than that, I know there was some kind of water problem with this, or it was. I think that was fixed and it was working when they got a new one. So, but we're gonna try. I'm just gonna clean it up a little. Oh, that is clean. Sort of. Oh, there we go. This is a draining port for the water. Looks to be a lot of sediments in there. Well, let's close this again. So I'm gonna run this through a few times with water to really clean this thing out. Okay, and this was here. That is going to power, and then we have, so now this needs to fit onto this. So I went to the truck store and I got this coupler. So this is going from this to this, and then it's going from millimeter to thread pipe. So this is kind of wanky there. This is not really a good fit, so I'm just gonna fill it out with some thread tape here I got. Should be good. So with this. What is it? Oh, that's leaking a lot. Well, it's in there. Oh, there we go. Now it's all intact. I think, yes. I'm just gonna bleed it. That's good. So this got power now. We turn that on. It's sliding up. I think you need to, in order to start this with the hatch open, you need to put something in this switch here. Yeah, let's just put the rag there. Smush this in. Rinse, counter, return, menu. Let's put it to rinse. Select. This thing should start sending in water there, but it doesn't do that. Out of function, low water. Let's restart this. I'm gonna bleed this a little more. Right, it doesn't work with rinsing just with water. Let's try if we can find something else here. Enter password. Technician, that sounds nice. Adjust system, no. Payment, run, oh, that has to be it. Cold valve. Well, that didn't do anything. I'm just gonna go through everything here. Nothing on 4, nothing on 5. Number 6 is binding. No water, function error. There's some valve that doesn't open up. We need to go in manual here. I think is that the filling or the return? So this is where the water is coming in here. So with this off, what happens if I try to run the pump now? Well, nothing really. How does this even work? This is closing off how? No. What happens when I turn on the pump now? That should start spraying, right? Nope, nothing. How can it be nothing? There's nothing. I guess the water channel, at first I was just starting to think here. At first I thought just water was coming in here. And then route that to that hose or that hose. But I believe this water is actually coming in underneath everything here. And here is what locks out the water. This needs to open here to let the water in there. No problem at all. Huh. Well, it is filling the system now. Everything is mounted back together. Start this thing. Water pump is on. Come on, start up. This is a little slow to get started. Now it's working. Now it's filling water there. Okay, this thing is full. Choose beverage. We're gonna do that. Some coffee, please. Oh, I think I forgot to mount something there. Ooh. So I found the problem. I did mount this upside down. So that is this was this thing spraying water here. So. Okay, so this thing is now restarted. I've dried it up a little bit there. Did we get any coffee from that? Or did that thing just... Well, we got coffee there at least. Nah, let's try this again. Yeah, now it's coming. Let's fill this thing with some beans. I guess the finer you make this, the more taste you get. I could grind it a little bit more. So I did mess around a little bit with the settings here. I think I got the perfect taste from the beans that is. The finer coffee, the more bitter taste. And the bigger it is, it's more of a sweet taste to it. So I got it somewhere there between. And this thing also has a counter that so you can check how many cups you actually take from this. So I wrote it down here. So this has been serving 37,959 cups of coffee. So yeah. Oh, the magnets are they're just too weak. So it looked a little high, so I put it down a little bit, but yeah, so this sign was thrown out due to the spelling error that's here, cafeteria. That's spelled wrong, so I think it's nice. You just don't have to read that. You can just read that instead. That's right. Okay, let's do something, something that's actually needed now. I gotta hang up the ceiling fans here. So my plan for hanging this up are using some leftover railing here. And this is going here. My plan is to have it like this. Do we need these things? Maybe I just gonna have it. Well, that I can have. The one coming over here. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that. So I have it like that. Gonna spin that way, yeah. Since that thing is, one wing is always gonna be touching that light, that thing is gonna drive me nuts, having it going like that. So I gotta have to move that light a little bit more here. So the fan can't be moved more here, since the garage door, then it's gonna touch that. Let's see how close this is coming. Yeah. So this is what is going to control them. So you can control the speed with this. But before testing out these fans, I'm gonna connect the temperature sensor. So the sensor that takes the outside temperature is now just going out there, going out the door. So that has to be mounted in a northern direction. So I'm thinking about, let's just put the sensor here. Pull the cable up here. Can I use this? I think it's out. So I got this little blob here I can seal with. Kind of. This building is still gonna get a red coat. So this is pretty much just the first coat to protect it, so you don't have the stress to paint that. But it's still gonna have to be painted. So I gotta paint that red when I do paint this. Probably to the summer it's gonna get painted. I gotta see if I can find someone to do that. I don't have the sanity to paint something like this. Not with a brush. Maybe spray paint, but I don't know if you should spray paint the first time you're doing this. It feels like you kind of wanna get that color in with a brush. I don't know. I gotta look that up. But you can see here, it's lacking paint on some places. So we're gonna leave a little bit extra here. Be good. There's a little slack there. So let's see if it starts sensing that sensor again. Should do that when it starts. It's 6+ outside right now, so it's actually kind of hot. And that's in the shadow. That's not even in the sun. So this snow is melting kind of fast right now. All right, that is working. We got a total of, well, let's see here. Oh, we go to more there. Efficiency there, as you can see it. So if you're talking about coop value, I got a coop value of 6.1. That is kind of high, but I think it's high right now since it hasn't really been that cold. It can be a few minus on the night, but then it's pretty much just plus. I think that is gonna go down next winter when we go to closer to -40 there. So yeah, this thing has generated 780 kilowatts since I installed this. So let's leave it. so my electrician gave up for today. He's gonna be back next week to finish this with some outlets and fuses. That's coming here. It's turning out really good. He also did connect this so I can start using the fans here. There's just one problem with these fans. I kind of expected this to be some kind of quality fans, but they have a lot of sound to them. I guess we can do a visual test to see how the air is moving right now. All right, let's give it a try with this, if we can see how the air is moving here. Might be a little bit too much smoke in this though, but I guess we're gonna find that out. Okay, I think that's enough. Well, let's turn the fans up a bit. Yeah, maybe not the best visualization there, but I guess it's okay. I'm gonna let this smoke out there. Well, that didn't work as I thought it would. I thought it would give a better visual picture how the actual fan is blowing down the air there, but yeah, well, yeah, the best thing is just to measure, I guess. You can measure down here and up there and see the temperature difference when that thing has been spinning for a day or two, seeing if it equals out that temperature. About this shelving here, I was a little skeptical at first, but I really started to like them now when I got some stuff onto them. First, when I just measured, it seems like there will be such a waste of space using the pallet here, but putting them like this is not really that much. And something you can actually do to access stuff like this is building drawer slides, so you can just push this out. I've seen drawer slides for shelving like this for sale, but they are kind of expensive. So I could just order slides and build that myself. But it's a good start having it like this right now. So I'm really happy with that. I'm just gonna throw on some more pallet here and start filling stuff. It's really sturdy now also when there's actual weight on this. You're not gonna shake that anymore. I do get a big variation of stuff in here. I got caps. So this is something this is like a prototype when I was building the wood processor there for the skid steer. So this was meant to handle chain oil going for the actual saw. So this is just a peristaltic pump and this is just a speed controller. So every time it senses that the sword was going down, this started pumping a certain amount. And when the sword goes up, this was turning off. It actually worked kind of good. Not really sure why it's sitting here on a shelf. Can't really remember why I didn't use this. Or was it just that the speed controller got damaged somehow? Might have been that. What else do I have here? Got some big thread rods for future project. Was using this when I was building the crusher. Got a lot of stuff I'm gonna need in the future. Here's some light. I was meant to install this winter time. I got a lot of lights for that. So this is just a controller, so you can control the lights from inside. Kind of neat installing it with something like this, I guess. Never done that, that's why I was supposed to try this. So yeah, and here we got. So I got a lot of these. These are vibrators. I did win this on an auction. So I bought a pallet filled with vibrators. And I really think I'm gonna need this when building screens and stuff for handling or sorting gravel. So I gotta have use for these vibrators. So I think this was a good buy. Okay. But this is a good start, having stuff here. Yeah, these are kind of rotten, so I still gotta use them as a tiny table here. So when we did the pour with this concrete, I did cast in 6 of these. So these are just threaded insert. So you can use them as a point of, well, if you're gonna use straps or something like that, if you're building something and need to have a pulling force, you can hook them up here. That's the point. There's a lot of times when I've done stuff in the garage and I kind of need a pulling point. So that's why I've casted these in. But I'm gonna make this as a lid. So I'm just gonna cut this to, well, protect these holes for getting filled up with dirt and stuff. I don't know, just if it's stuck, so you can kind of get some leverage to get that up. But this is, now there's no dirt coming down there. That's good. So there's 5 that's actually visible, easy to see. It's just this one. There's supposed to be one kind of in line here. I don't think it's those, but if I do a little tip tap with the hammer, I think I should. I didn't find it with the hammer, but I gotta use a magnet. That thing should work. At first I thought about using the metal detector, but that would go crazy with all the rebars in this, but I think a magnet should work. Oh, I felt something here. Yep, you see? There it is. So it's kind of crazy when you actually stop to think a little bit how far you come. So it's not long before this is, when you can say this is finished. It's a good feeling. I mean, it was not long ago since I was standing. I think it was kind of here saying. All right, so my plan is to build a garage here. My very own garage. And now there's pretty much almost a finished garage here. What that starts to be now is to fill this thing with tooling. I mean, if someone has tooling to sell, like a lathe, a drill press, a milling machine, I don't know, metal workshop, stuff like that. The thing I'm looking for now is kind of high-end old stuff. I think that's the best machines. The old machines that was high-end back in the days. Yeah, if someone has some machine that they would think that is going to fit there, I'm kind of interested in buying that. I mean, you can drop a comment or you can just send me a mail. So I'm going to bring in the truck here just to get a feel how it feels having something bigger in here. After that, I'm so I gotta go on a weekend to Stockholm. My plan is to look at tooling and stuff like that. Hopefully. We'll see about that. So yeah, see you next time.